back. Well, the Chinese Communist Party concluded its People's Congress yesterday, where Xi Jinping was granted an unprecedented third term and anointed dictator for life, similar to Mao Zedong. One of his first public moves was to humiliate and take out his predecessor. China's former president, Hu Jintao, was physically escorted out of his seat and out of the closing ceremony, clearly against his own will. He seemed to resist and looked back at his seat while being escorted out. Joining me right now, live this morning, is Florida Congressman Michael Waltz. He sits on the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. I know you are just back from Asia. You went to Taiwan, Philippines, among other places. First, give us your reaction to what took place yesterday in Beijing.
Well, Maria, Xi has cemented his place as a 21st century emperor of China. He humiliated his predecessor. He has stacked the organs of power in China with his loyalists. He has centralized power with himself. He has eliminated term limits. So essentially, he is dictator for life now, all with a major step towards what he sees as his legacy, and that's returning China to become the global superpower, not a superpower, but the global superpower, in line with ancient Chinese greatness. And to do that, he's told his military to rapidly modernize, to prepare for war by 2027. Their Navy is larger than ours. Their Space Force is launching more than we are. And he's told his economy to become self-sufficient, both technologically and from a manufacturing standpoint, so that they can resist any type of outside pressure. He has become the most powerful Chinese dictator since Mao.
Well, I know for sure that if the Communist Party of China is the #1 superpower, your kids and their kids and my kids and their kids and grandkids are not going to have the same opportunities that we had in a freedom-loving America as the #1 superpower. What does this mean for America?
Well, he sees all of this as an existential conflict with the West, and he is talking about in his speeches to prepare for the coming storm, that this is a life-or-death competition with Western liberal democracy versus what he says is socialism with Chinese characteristics. Every war game now, the United States takes massive losses to where I don't think we can, as American people, can take for granted anymore that we win. What do we do about it? Well, Maria, in a new Republican majority, we will have a select committee on China that will get at everything from their buying up our farmland to infiltrating our universities to the amount of money that's pouring in from Wall Street, the fact that they own the Panama Canal now and ports around the world. Xi sees this as he is going to win economically way before there's any type of military conflict. And Maria, we have to wake up as a country to what the hell is going on and get our supply chains out of China and back to America. It's a national security critical issue.
Well, what is Joe Biden doing about it? I mean, you're just back from Taiwan. Are they expecting that the CCP is going to invade Taiwan? Open source reporting says they're going to be there within 18 months. Is Joe Biden doing anything about it?
You know, some things are moving in the right direction, Maria. The crackdown on American chip exports was a step in the right direction, but there's no sense of urgency, right? I mean, this is coming right around the corner. He, again, has told his military to be prepared to invade Taiwan by 27. We're running out of time. And we certainly aren't doing anything about Wall Street, the NBA, our universities, and the infiltration that has happened in American society. That's where Biden has to make much bolder moves, and he's asleep at the switch, and many people can credibly argue that he's compromised.
Well, he still hasn't mentioned the origins of COVID-19. He hasn't mentioned, we don't have any evidence that he's actually pushed the CCP on why they covered up COVID and why we know that all of the evidence points to the Wuhan lab and COVID escaping from it.
That's right.
There's also, you know, he's depleting the Strategic National Petroleum Reserve and selling some oil to China.
Right.
And then there's Iran. Protesters continue to take to the streets across Iran against Ayatollah Khomeini and his brutal regime. following the death of a young woman who was in custody from the so-called morality police. She wasn't wearing her scarf right, according to them, so they killed her. Your thoughts on this administration pursuing an Iran deal? Is the Iran deal dead at this point?
Maria, if it's not dead, it's on life support. I mean, as badly, as desperately as the Biden administration wants this deal, where they just make concession after concession after concession, a total appeasement strategy, between the Iranians openly trying to assassinate American officials, attacking journalists on American soil, now literally shooting schoolgirls in the streets. On top of all of that, they're providing advanced drones to the Russians, but our entire policy is hostage to this deal. We've got to walk away from it and get back to maximum pressure for this abhorrent regime.
Well, we'll see if we do. Congressman, it's good to see you. Michael Waltz joining us this morning in Florida. Coming up, deadly and unprecedented numbers from the southern border. A Fox News exclusive, a stunning 2.3 million illegal crossers in the last year, and a record number of immigrants found dead trying to get here. Arizona Republican gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake on the impact to Arizona and why she is leading in one of the hottest races this midterm season. She's next.